Water, the molecule that supports all life on Earth. It's simple, basic. It's everywhere, and we take it completely for granted. We use it to water our lawns, to flush our toilets. We take those long showers, letting it run while we hope to have shower epiphanies. This molecule drives our entire world, and there is no substitute. Today, 2 billion people live in water-scarce regions of the world. We are in a crisis around water. This might seem like a distant problem for those of us in the room, but actually, farmers right here in California are struggling with high water prices. Global water demand is projected to increase 55% by 2050, and our freshwater resources are plummeting. At the core of this crisis is a misunderstanding. If I were to tell you that a bottle of water contains refreshing spring water from Fiji, you might pay me $6 for the bottle. What if instead I told you that it comes recycled from someone's kitchen? You'd be disgusted. We think new water is clean, old water is dirty. Water from certain places is better than water from other places. Take swimming pools, for example. When I was a kid, I was terrified of swimming pools. The thought of swimming there with everyone together made me so anxious. What if people hadn't showered properly? Or the worst question of all, right? What if someone had peed in the pool? But then I learned about chlorination and filtration systems, about how pool water is actually quite clean, despite the fact that people swim there together. We often end up rejecting things that make us psychologically uncomfortable, like wastewater reuse. In India, where I grew up, water from the tap is undrinkable. No matter what income level you are at, you have to spend time or money accessing drinking water. And for a poor family, spending on water can be as high as 15% of their monthly income. As a child, I used to think, why? Why do people have to spend money on accessing water? Shouldn't it be more freely available? The reason it's not available is because it's being bottled or shipped in tankers from far away. It seemed absurd to me. And then, in the summer of 2024, my hometown Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India, ran out of water. My flatmates and I quickly adjusted, using fewer dishes, taking 1 bucket baths. But something that has been mundane was suddenly scarce and precious. One afternoon that summer, I passed by a line of people waiting to collect water from a public tanker. There were small children in that line, standing in the scorching heat of the sun, with buckets almost as tall as they were. But just 200 meters away, there was a lake. Bangalore was once the garden city of India. It was this haven that people retired to. The city sourced its water from over 100 lakes. Those lakes are now useless, filled with foam and garbage. One of them had even caught on fire. Seeing that made me so angry. Here was a community in desperate need of water, and a water source right next to them that was utterly unusable. Was there really no way that we could get the water from the lake to the people who needed it? And so over the next year, as an investor in climate tech solutions, I went on a mission to understand water better. And one thing became clear to me. wastewater is one of the most neglected resources that we have. It flows everywhere, through our cities, our farms, our factories, and our watersheds. But we have systematically underinvested in it. So what if things were different? What if the access to safe, clean water was universal? What if industries could simply recirculate the water they already use instead of continuously drawing on freshwater resources? Imagine if we treated every drop of rain as a resource, capturing and cycling it back into use. That world is possible, but only if we change our understanding of recycled water. Let me explain how this works and why it matters. Today we treat wastewater, but we use it for non-potable purposes only: irrigation, flushing toilets, washing cars. 80% of global wastewater is actually released back into the environment without proper treatment. Instead, we draw on freshwater resources from far away at enormous cost and enormous energy. We could be reusing the water we already have right here. The solution to fix this actually exists. It's called potable water reuse. Wastewater can be sent into a treatment plant, be cleaned to a high standard, safe for human consumption, and then be piped directly back into the systems that supply our homes. This water is actually cleaner than conventional drinking water sourced from rivers. But the public perception around it has prevented governments and utilities from investing in it. In the early 2000s, San Diego attempted to install a water reuse facility, but people balked at the idea of drinking wastewater. A brewery led this opposition, using the slur "toilet to tap," and successfully halted the facility's plans. They were scared that wastewater in their products customers would shy away from wastewater in their products. But frequent droughts, combined with public education about the treatment process, helped change attitudes. Nearly 2 decades later, in March 2022, San Diego's first operational water reuse facility was completed. This is what gives me hope. I know this shift seems hard, but our minds can change. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes obvious. 20 years ago, living in a stranger's house on vacation would have seemed unthinkable. But today we call it Airbnb, and we take it for granted. So our certainties can change. Now, for this shift to happen, we need 3 things working together. The first is education. We have to change the narrative around recycled water. My call to all of you here today is to be active and curious about where your water comes from and at what cost. Be an advocate. Every drop of water on Earth today has already passed through endless cycles of purification and reuse in nature. As the saying goes, you might all be drinking dinosaur pee. The second is innovation and investment. There is an economic cost to this shift, and it is not small. We have to put money and work behind solutions that make it cost-efficient and effective for utilities and municipalities to adopt water reuse. And the third is policy. For those of you going into the public sphere, push for policies that prioritize water reuse over other expensive alternatives. We have a choice. We can let our psychological discomfort limit us, keep us locked into solutions that are expensive, inefficient, and environmentally degrading. Or we can realize that water is endlessly recyclable. So long as it's properly treated, it doesn't matter whether it comes from a treatment plant or a spring. This shift in understanding will have enormous implications for our lives, our future, and our world. Thank you.